Hello and welcome to my channel, Creative Paper Artisan. I am Karen, and this tutorial is specifically for you if you have purchased my any one of my library genre dividers. This is my very first design, the first kit, and I plan on having other looks, other kind of feels to it. So if you have not purchased the floral one, it's okay because the instructions are identical. So let's get started. So you will have all of your pages printed out on cardstock. And I've already put together some of the cream and the navy, which turned out lovely, I think. And so we're just going to work on the green ones here. And of course, you can do all green, you can do all cream, all navy. In my library, I plan on doing a mixture of all of them. And as you'll see in the kit, you've got several options for the toppers and the base, the three colors of the bases. So you can just kind of conform it to however it works for you and really have fun with it. That's the plan, right? So, all right. Let me go ahead. We'll just start with one here. You can cut this with scissors or with a guillotine cutter, which I did on the others, but I'm going to hand cut these real quick just because my guillotine cutter is not handy right now. And so I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way, just in case you don't have a guillotine cutter. You know, you don't feel like you have to go get one just for this. You could just very carefully cut everything by hand. Okay, so you'll see this line here. This is your fold line. It's basically just fold it in half. So let's do that real quick here. And you do want to make sure that everything lines up nicely. You don't want anything too cattywampus. You can always trim a little bit, but if you can get it very, very close first time around, then, you know, it just makes everything easier. And you do want a nice crisp line. Get these out of the way. I'm not sure why they're there. Okay. All right. And then you'll see this little cross line that goes this way. All you need to do is take your scissors and just cut right to there. And cutting on, you know, once it's folded in half just makes it that much easier for you to get it in one straight line. Okay. All right. And then what we're going to do, this is so easy. You're going to be amazed. Now we're just going to fold back that bottom half, right? Just fold it right to where the corner is, where you cut. Just kind of eyeball it, make sure everything's nice and straight. Just fold that back. Again, give it a good crease. And just to make it a little bit easier, in the next step, we're going to fold it this way too. And give it a good crease. Okay, so now here's where the magic happens. Easy breezy. So you unfold it and then you push this part in to fold like this, but then this guy stays up, right? So does that make sense? And you just do that. So you end up with this nice little L-shaped, well, not really L. It's an L if you go this way, I guess. So that's it. Okay, so now we just need to glue everything down. It's going to make it a very nice, sturdy piece, something, you know, to put in as the divider. So I'm going to glue this side first, just this little section, just to kind of give it a place to land, we're going to do, just push it down there. Okay, and then I'm just going to put glue all along the rest of this, up into the corner here. Try not to get it so full of glue that it's oozing out the edges, but then again, do try to get the corners and the edges, try to get close, but just with a thin bead, because you don't want anything catching when you slide this in and out between the books. So, and of course, if some oozes out, it's not horrible. You just wipe it off. But I like to avoid it when I can. Okay, so, well, see now, there's a little sliver here that's the white is showing, and that's not a big, huge deal, but because I am who I am, that's going to bother me. So I'm just going to trim that just a shade. Okay. Hardly noticeable, but I'm going to know about it. So, okay. So now this needs to be glued together too. So I'm just going to stick a little glue in there just to give it a little bit something to hang on to there. So it's all kind of one piece. And it's going to make it very nice, sturdy. This is very sturdy now. Okay. So you can take a little bit of wear and tear from sliding in between the books if you're rearranging things. And so now the next thing I'm going to do, because I love inked edges, I'm going to go ahead and just ink the edges real quick. You don't have to do this. Totally up to you, but I just like it. I'm not going to ink this edge because it's not going to show at all, or this edge, at all. And, these other edges, once you have everything tucked in between the books, you're not really going to see them either. But if you're rearranging things and you're moving things around, it's just going to be really pretty when you're taking them, moving things back and forth. So I'm just going to ink it so that it's pretty, whether it's in the shelf or whether it's not in the shelf. All right. One more little edge here. And I'm just using a nice gentle brown. It's called Vintage Photo. It's one of my favorites. That one and the walnut stain I tend to use the most on everything. It just works best for me. Now on the darker, on the navy is so dark. It's almost black, honestly. I actually went ahead and just I used a black ink to ink around the edges so that the little white edges don't show. All right, so now I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to cut out one of these. And I'm going to choose the heart. All right. And when you fussy cut around this, I recommend that you cut like all the way to the edge. Just kind of stay along the outer edge. Don't go in too close, and I'll show you why in a minute. But I'm just going to cut this out real quick. All right. So now what we're going to do is fold. Make sure that you leave the little, all of these, you'll see there's like one little section where they're attached. We want to leave that. And that's going to be what kind of hangs off of the base. So just fold it in half and try to match it up the best you can. Obviously, there's no way that you would be able to cut exactly, which is why I said kind of go along the outer edges, because now what we're going to do, actually, that's pretty close. That may be the best one I've done yet. But there are still some white edges, from the other side showing on both areas. So we're going to go again. We're going to hold it. Make sure you hold it pretty good and secure so it doesn't shift. Now we're going to go around again, cutting both. And you can go a little closer this time, just so that we don't have any white showing on either end on either side. What am I trying to say? And again, try to make sure that it's not shifting while you cut. So kind of grab it pretty firmly there. Okay, there we go. Looking pretty good. So I'm going to ink the edges on this too, just so that it has a nice finished look on the edges, because you're always going to see a little bit of white, right? So that's what inking, it not only makes things look a little bit more aged and antique and vintage, which I love, but it also kind of helps make everything look a little more finished without having the white paper edges showing. So that's my reasoning. I just love it. All right, that's it. Okay, so now let's grab our base. And you will notice on each of the embellishments, the side that's kind of has the attachment there. On all of them, all the different shapes, they're all kind of off to one side, and you want to instead of whoops. Let me see here. Okay, so instead of doing it like this, you want to have that be on your left, because it's going to be hanging on it, and you want this to stick out more than not. And they're all going to sit a little bit differently. Let me show you here a couple different examples. On the, they're all going to, just kind of sit a little bit differently. With the heart. Let's see here. With the heart, it's a little bit shaped a little bit differently, but what I'm trying to do, what I did on all of these, I placed it so that the corner, this doesn't show. With a heart, it's a little bit different because it's a little bit smaller. I'm trying to, there we go, okay. All right. It's a little bit smaller. And what I'm going to do on this one, because this is showing, or on the other ones, it doesn't show at all. The heart is, it's being a little bit difficult. The heart is always a little difficult, isn't it? I'm actually going to trim this down. I wanted to see where it's going to actually place first, but I'm going to trim the kind of make a corner, a rounded corner. I'm going to get my bigger scissors here. And you can cut it so that it doesn't show at all, or just kind of round it. I'm going to do it rounded first so that there's still a little bit showing, and we'll see how that looks. And if you don't like the looks of that, then you can always trim it more. The heart is the only one that you have to do a little bit adjusting there. I think I'm going to trim it more. I'm not sure I like that showing. So I'm going to just kind of do that. Perfect. All right. So the little tip of the heart here is covering that corner, and I've got the little arm here trimmed accordingly to make the heart kind of be the focal point without any distractions. So, you know what, however you want to do it is completely fine. It's all up to you. So now, let me make sure my glue is working. So now we are going to just kind of put glue on this section and maybe kind of along the edges here, right? Make sure it's where you want it to be. And also make sure that you have it pressed down on the top here so it's flush and it's nice and straight. So just focus on that area right here for a minute. Okay, now we're going to flip it and then just put glue everywhere on this side, and it's just going to glue everything together nicely. All right, and then make sure everything lines back up. There's no white showing. And if there is a little bit white, of course, you can always go back around with your ink, which I think I'm going to do right here. A little bit on the edge. All right. Make sure everything is glued nice and secure. Fantastic. Okay. So now here comes the part where you get to, get the fun part of organizing. I guess figure out where you want to place everything first, and then just, choose however you want to organize your library. Obviously, it's going to be up to each individual. But I am going to, I just chose a few here that I know I'm going to be using in my library. I'm going to use the language there, and I'm just going to place that there with glue, and it's really that simple. And I did ink the edges of these with black because they're gray, and it kind of gave that a nice finished look too. Oops. All right. And there you go. There is a fantastic custom divider for one of the genres in your library. You bookie book lover, you. I know I'm a bookie book lover. And I'm going to have a lot of fun. I've been meaning to organize my library. Well, it's not, I don't have a library, but I have several bookshelves that need a little bit of help, need a little bit of organizing. And I'm really excited to get these in there, and it'll help me, get things in a nice order. And another thing that you can do, depending on how your library is set up, you can always, of course, print the labels out twice and then put the name on each side. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do that with my library or not, but that is an option. So that's it. Super duper easy. And let me see here. Let me get these other guys out here too. I'm really, really excited about this one for myself personally, and for you as a book lover and a paper crafter. I hope you have a lot of fun with this. Thanks for watching. If you have not purchased this kit yet and you would like to, I'll have a link below for you, okay? All right. Thanks so much for stopping by. Have fun creating.